We're back for Your Ears Only. I'm Eddie Robinson.
I'm David Alpern with this quote from the news. These executives should be phasered on heavy stun. That was Star Trek fan Harmon Fields of Manhattan on CBS, withholding an okay for use of a never-used script from the original Star Trek series for an amateur web version, despite the approval of Arthur Norman Spinrad. Now this.
What did you say to your sister when you volunteered at the reaping?
I told her that I would try to win for her.
And try you will.
I just keep wishing that I could think of a way to show them that they don't own me. If I'm gonna die, I want to still be me.
I just can't afford to think like that.
Do you smell the birth of a franchise? Opening weekend sales for The Hunger Games, originally projected at $70 million, actually hit a surprising $150 million, the third highest opening weekend ever, trailing only last year's Harry Potter finale at $170 million and 2008's Batman sequel, The Dark Knight, at just under $160 million.
Based on the trilogy by Suzanne Collins, The Hunger Games, the film version, depicts a dystopian America where children are forced to fight to the death in a televised gladiator-style reality show where only one can survive. Like the books, the film features violent scenes of children being shot, stabbed, and beaten to death by other children. Should our children see it? Should we? For guidance, for Your Ears Only, we turn again to KCBS radio entertainment editor and critic Jan Wall, also a lecturer and film historian at janwall.com. Welcome back to our program.
Great to be here with you. I love hearing about the Hunger Games, and I love talking about it.
How much of the film's appeal comes from its young Oscar-nominated heroine, Jennifer Lawrence, and how do you think she does?
First of all, she does absolutely beautiful as Katniss Everdeen. But let me tell you why this movie appeals to people of all ages. I mean, yes, I'm very happy. Move over Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings because it's got young people reading books. Hats off to that. But it reminds me also of The Truman Show and even a little bit of one of my favorite movies of all time, Network, Paddy Chayefsky's Network. Because remember, one of the plots in that movie was about an anchorman being killed for ratings. So here we're talking about a show that a TV show that has kids killing each other in this kind of gladiator meets survivor show style, and I think she does very well, Jennifer Lawrence. It's not just the actors though; it's this wonderful the way the plot keeps moving. The director keeps the plot moving. Gary Ross keeps the plot moving ahead. I mean, it's motion pictures that actually has motion, and it takes us deep into this story. Plus, you've got flamboyant Stanley Tucci as the host, and you've got Woody Harrelson. And anytime the intense Woody Harrelson shows up, a movie is made better.
Now that so many kids and young teens have seen it, do you think more adults will now start to ride the hunger wave, which could generate even more revenue for the film?
You know, I think, yeah, if it's possible, even more. First of all, kids will go over and over again. The reason we've got a Hollywood that appeals to kids, that you know, they mostly want to make movies for kids, is because they go over and over again. They go the first week. They are critic-proof. They don't care what critics say. They buy the merchandise. They really buy the merchandise and all the tie-ins. And worldwide, it's easier to market to that age group. So there's a lot of reasons why this kind of age group does the kind of box office that it does. And the Hunger Games will, though, expand out because I am not that demographic, yet I find it a good film. It's actually, if you remember that it's making a statement on our reality show-drenched culture. And if you think of it that way, it becomes a far more interesting film, and I think that'll send older people to it.
But many parents are still concerned about the violent content and fear it could cause violent behavior or psychological distress in some young people. What's your view on that?
I think they're right. I think the parents should be worried, and I think they should be distressed about this. This is a very bad problem we've got in our culture in general. And, of course, video games are violent, and we've got a lot of violence coming at these kids in ways that they're not looking. I teach a class, and I do a lecture called Critical Thinking of the Mass Media for young people, where they, and for everybody, where they try and be, I want them to be critical and say, wait, this is too violent, this is too cruel. And there is a lot of violence and cruelty in this brutal film, and I would hope 12 and up. I would hope kids 12 and under don't go, but that is who they're marketing to, and it's going to be hard for parents to keep those under 12s from seeing it.
On a related movie matter last week, what was your reaction to the campaign that got the Motion Picture Association to drop its planned R rating for the sometimes painful documentary Bully that might get kids to understand the harm mean behavior can really do?
It's one of the only times the board ever did anything I agreed with. I usually don't like their ratings. I usually think it's a sham and it's a corrupt system. Mm-hmm. This time they should have dropped it. This time this is a movie that should be in schools. This is a movie that should be shown mandatory in high schools. Kids need to see it. Bullying is something that is happening. It is a very painful documentary, but it's powerful, and it's something that kids need to see. So I am really pleased that happened. That's one of the few times they've ever done anything I agree with.
On a lighter note, on a lighter note, talk about the new British romantic comedy drama Salmon Fishing in the Yemen, starting with its writer and director and their past successes.
Oh man, that was that movie was it had half of a really good movie in it, but it changed its tone. It went from this really fun comedy and crazy idea of this sheikh from Yemen who's determined to bring fishing into his country and make it a big tourist thing, but as well make the people proud. And it turns into, unfortunately, a serious political commentary that deals with terrorism and internal strife in the country, and it takes the comedy out of it. I think it was a chance to be a comedy that really failed. So we need comedies these days, and what's so good is on DVD. There's a whole bunch of things that are out that are very good, and that includes The Descendants and My Week with Marilyn and Hugo. All of these are now available to watch at home, which is fabulous.
Jan Wall is KCBS Radio Entertainment editor and critic, also lecturer and film historian at janwall.com. And this has been For Your Ears Only.